grasp of technology is appalling. Considering how much I've had to learn over the last 3 years.
But the learning never ceases.
No, that's the truth.
This dog.
I do not understand why I can't.
Okay, ready for the transition? And here we go. Hello, scribblers. Welcome back. If you have been hanging out with us once we went live, you will have heard that we are having some stream gremlins lurking in the shadows out there, causing trouble and general mischief. Which is always how it goes on this stream, I must say. So, yeah, I think that we were having a little bit of trouble going live. There seems to be a little bit of an issue with my computer tonight. So hopefully it continues on without a hitch. Fingers crossed. But if there's any degradation, we will do our best to get the stream up and running again. So apologies in advance. But hello, everyone. We have Chill Creation, not Tuesday, Wednesday. Welcome back. We are now on the fifth iteration of the game design series featuring Cryptid Creeks. Welcome, friends, new and old. I see some gremlins checking in the chat. Oh, heard from a wee fey birdie that some heroic adventures may be on the horizon. You heard right. Tomorrow is going to be a return, a long-awaited return to our Heroes of Iastera actual play campaign. I am so excited. It's been so long since we've been able to return to the story. I'm not going to dive into that and take up too much time on our stream to nerd out and get all hyped, but go check out YouTube. Chapters, or seasons 1 and 2, are all on the YouTube channel, Heroes of Iastera. We started off with D&D 5e Fusion, but as soon as we hit the start of Chapter 3, we made a full switch to Bard RPG, which of course is my original system that went through Kickstarter and will be published and out in the wild within the next 2 months, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan with production timelines. But we'll see. But yes, hello. This is a cool layout. This is a layout actually designed by Art of Arklin, if I recall correctly, for Inspirals. And of course, speaking of Inspirals and Cryptid Creeks, I am joined by, put in the correct direction, Scriv, our very own hatchling DM. Hello, Rich. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Really good.
Very
excited to get into part 5.
Yes. Okay.
Design from scratch.
Yes. So if you are just joining in this part of the series, joining midway through, we are showing the full behind-the-scenes look at designing an original TTRPG from scratch. Start to finish, from inspiration and conception all the way to a finished product. So we have been focusing on safety tools. We're looking at basic mechanics. We're looking at the different types of moves you can use, talking about the choice of system. This is going to be a powered by the Apocalypse game. And Rich, why don't you tell them what we're focusing on tonight as I get our screen share ready?
Yeah, so session 0 tonight, which is always a really exciting part of the game production process, but also obviously the playing experience. And then also sort of dip into sort of a bit about what character creation will look like.
Yes.
So it's quite a big area actually, but I think we got some good ideas in mind already. So
we
it should be pretty smooth.
We do. Also, chat, please let me know if the music is a little bit too loud. We've got some nice synthwave going tonight. And I did finally cave and do the subscription for Pretzel Rocks again. But it actually saved all of my old playlists for Iastera and Outpost 5.
Oh, that's good then.
That I had before, so I don't have to recreate
that's good.
the musical atmosphere. Balance music vibe, excellent. I really do love synthwave, so I'm happy we've got that kind of mood. I think that fits very nicely with Cryptid Creeks. So, tonight, we are working on Session 0. Do we have a section? Oh, we do. Haha. Session 0 and Creek Creation. So, for session 0, first of all, I love session 0s. It is very often my favorite part of starting any new character or TTRPG campaign or short shot, whatever it's going to be, because it really offers, in my mind, an opportunity to introduce the players and the party to the world in a way that is immersive, in a way where you're creating bonds and links and generating that investment, that player investment in the world and where they see themselves interacting with the world. And what your idea for Cryptid Creeks was, I love, because you're looking at not only session 0 for character creation and building your river scout, but you also have a hand in some world building with creek creation. So let's talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
So I think we both thought about this, but we got an artist on board called Fernando Salvatierra, who did lots of art for Overall's recent project. Yeah, he's incredible, like map artist, and generally an artist in general, actually. But he's going to put together like a template for like a creek, or like a kind of a very basic landscape, with certain features that will be included in everyone's creation template. But then I thought what we could have is a sticker set with landmarks, so they're reusable stickers, and all different landmarks, like a churchyard, like an arcade, like a whatever it is, like a harbour, like a fishing shop, like anything you want really in there, and you can just pick them off that thing and create your own creek. Basically, it's a sandbox for your sort of like one shot or campaign. And then from that, the GM or the creek guide or whatever we're going to call them will create a session or a campaign around those landmarks. So session 0 would happen quite far in advance of the actual adventures.
Yeah, that's part of the campaign prep as well, which is nice. You can have an idea of what you want to achieve in there, but being able to create the creek together collaboratively is such a cool thing. I mean,
I think it'd be really nice.
The scouts can figure out, like, okay, my house is here. This is where we meet up. This is where we hide our boat.
Yeah,
this is where the baddies are.
Yeah, so you have a range of houses, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point, yeah.
So what do you want to start with? Do you want to talk about the world building first or the scout creation first?
I think the world building.
I'm more excited about the world building too.
Yeah.
And I've put some quick notes down here as you were talking and doing the introduction. So for the world building piece, looking at the creek, but I think also the arcade.
Yep.
We wanted to determine what the arcade was going to look like. And for those of you who are just joining in tonight, the arcade is like the clubhouse, the meetup point. That's where your downtime phase is going to be happening. And we also have looped in some elements of the arcade and going home and that kind of stuff, basically interacting with other elements of the town into the safety tools approach. But go on YouTube, check session 4 for that one.
I mean, so what we could have is like not thinking of the stickers, because that's kind of like a aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
But like in general, if it was just on a PDF, it would just be like some core locations that would be in every single campaign. So like your houses, like the arcade or the clubhouse sort of element. Maybe some woodlands, maybe definitely the river, obviously. And certain other locales that you'd have to visit during your kind of investigations and your sabotages.
Yeah.
So you could have like a section of like core locations, and then beneath that, whether it's like a sub list of just basically inspirational areas that you can include. That's the way I envision it.
Forest, neighborhood points of interest. Okay, so the scouts can work together to create their neighborhood creek, or to create their creek, as well as the surrounding forest and neighborhood points of interest. Excellent.
the thing I've been thinking this week as well is that I really, really, really want this to be quite adaptable for different scenarios and different kind of conflicts, I guess. So even though the construction companies, in our core game, as an example, we want to make the system and the kind of the way it's built to accommodate different scenarios, basically.
And
it will still have the cryptids involved, obviously, and it will still have about a threat to the creek, or expect a threat to livelihoods, or anything like that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be in the homes being bulldozed.
Right. It could be anything. It could be
anything.
The possible introduction of like deforestation or some sort of like chemical plant,
Anything
something
like
that will
Absolutely
disrupt
anything.
the health of the surrounding area. Because loss of home can also be an emotional event. It can be a bit of a trigger as well. So you want
we want to give the
have a
opportunity to do
lot
something
of
else.
options. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So
we have to design it with that in mind. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to keep in mind it has to be open to different scenarios.
So would you want to have the scenario in mind first before creating the creek?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
I think that would help to guide it.
That would make sense. Because the players can know what the scenario is, because they've still got to find the cryptid. The cryptid's always going to be the sort of like one of the end game goals.
Yeah.
Essentially, whether it's one shot or whether it's a campaign.
And that'll be good in a campaign preparation episode as well, I think, where we can talk about choosing your villain and creating the scenario.
Yes. Yep. So
I'm gonna put a little note there so we can kind of signpost.
That's it. That's perfect.
Later.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Villain and scenario. Yeah. Perfect.
Hit save.
So that would come before the craft at your creek.
It would. However, do we still want to have that as like its own episode? I think we should stick with creek crafting
I
and
think we
River
should have
Scouts tonight.
It definitely needs to come in.
Maybe next time we'll talk about scenario creation.
Yeah, I think we should do it next time. It kind of would fit perfectly. There you go. That's fine.
Perfect. Okay. So, what are some things you'd like to keep in mind? What are some like guiding questions when you're creating your creek? So whenever we do like world building, whenever I like to do the collaborative bit, or also for campaign preparation, I like to think through some basic starter questions. How big is the creek? Is it a very heavily forested area? Do you spend most of your time around the creek and in the woods with the scouts, or do you spend most of your time in town? Because that can help to determine the scope, the distance, like the geography of the area as well. And we can add some like tips and suggestions if we want to.
I mean, it could almost be like a numerical thing where if you're doing a one shot, they would only have that you could pick from a small pool of locations. Mm-hmm. If you're doing it 3 sessions and then 5 sessions, then the pool would expand out to other options, basically. If that makes sense. So you're still kind of because I do think people like tables or like definitely inspirational.
Having
kind of
a roll table.
Anything like that.
Would be
like,
good.
Yeah. I think it's nice.
A roll table for places of interest, points of interest. But also, I think having some sample creeks to start from will cover the majority of this. Yeah. Because it's like when you're starting a new video game and you have presets for your character for an RPG. You can cycle through some presets for the creek. And
so imagine
build upon it.
So imagine if we had like just an A5 sheet with like descriptive paragraphs but with gaps. Like I know Quest RPG does it. They leave gaps and they have
like
a rolling
Mad Libs
table.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be cool.
And then next to it, you have 3 sample creeks, which are just template that Fernando will create,
Mm-hmm.
and then some sample stickers, and it's just like a shot of it, and then underneath it describes that creek. That would be cool. That would
That
be
would be
really
cool. So scouts can choose from a selection of sample starter creeks or generate their own.
Yeah. So some
Use
some already started ones,
ad libs style descriptions. That's not how you spell descriptions, Scriv. Descriptions and random tables to help fill in the specific characteristics.
Yes, that's one. Yeah.
I
think that'd be really, really lovely.
home.
I think that'd be really lovely.
I think that's cool. I don't think there's too much for us to fill out here right now until we have those things, but let's so the justification for it. Do we need to go into why this is a design choice? As the scouts create... Oh, I have an idea. I almost just answered my own question, sorry. As the scouts create their creek together, they can begin forming ideas of the bonds and shared memories they may have surrounding the area. Or the bonds and memories they share, I should say. The bonds and memories they share. What did I say? About
the
area. Yeah.
About the area, yeah.
This is a helpful tool to use either before or during character creation. Because I like this as being part of it. Oh, what if within that process you're creating your creek together, right? You might have a general idea of what kind of scout you want to be, you know, and of who your character is. But then as part of your character creation, similar to how you did with Inspirals, where the characters create their room in the cabin, this is where they could go, okay, I am Scriv, and I'm going to live here. And this is my family. And this is where I like to go. Oh, and this is where we go together on the creek. You know, they could start to build that shared story together.
I think that's nice. I think that's nice. I wonder... I was thinking how we can make this like kind of like a balance between very selective and individual. Like certainly can we do that with where they live on the map. That would be because you could put yourself on the outskirts of the forest. You could put yourself on the beach side, anything like that, and it would kind of have a different aspect of your character then, wouldn't it? But I wonder if we could have the rest of it just random. So it's like the locations that you pick are just from a table.
Yeah.
And the description just reads out like that. So
I think there are some locations that probably need to stay consistent. You have the
but
home,
they could be on the
arcade.
template.
They could be on the template. Yeah, that's true. Like where the school and the arcade are.
Yeah,
that should
exactly.
probably stay consistent.
Yeah, exactly. But also, do we want to? I mean, something else would be absolutely stunning. Would be if we had the scouts create the arcade, or they pick something for the arcade.
I like that idea. I like the idea
because then
of them creating the arcade together.
It becomes the whole creek, and then it goes really, really like focused on one area. You know, like you do in any sort of like really popular sim type game, like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing is probably a better example. Minecraft.
Animal Crossing is a great example. Oh, almost bedtime. Welcome, friend. Almost
Hello.
Bedtime says this is kind of like how Stone Top does it. I'm not familiar with Stone Top, but you always bring up some excellent references. There are some set points on the town, but you place others during character and town creation.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want.
That's what we want.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. But the arcade should be like a different creation process altogether.
Yeah. This
But
process
both
will be
part
more
of-
descriptive.
Yes, yeah. Like things like we can have like a coin up each, and you can name it, and you can tell what sort of coin up it is, like a fighting game, or is it like a platformer, or is it like a
Yeah. Oh,
bullet hell game?
everyone should create or come up with their favorite arcade game.
Arcade
And
machine.
put it in there. What kind of
How
food
good
is
would-
in
how
there?
good would that be?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
That's definitely another session. The arcade.
Hangout point.
Part 7, the
And
arcade. That's
setting
what part 7 is going to
for
be.
the downtime phase.
Yeah. And then it shows that we're kind of focused on this downtime as being a big deal with the game.
It is a big deal.
And that a large part of the game will take place in that kind of like the hub.
Creation of the arcade will be more descriptive in nature, with the scouts working together to describe. That's repetitive. To
Feel like,
identify what they may find within.
Yeah. That's good.
Key characteristics can include, we can do like a little
List.
bullet list here. Love a good bullet list. Can include favorite arcade games,
Yeah.
food / snacks, lounge area, like console video games, whatever.
Lots of things.
Music. Is there a jukebox? Include.
So we're not having playbooks. We've decided to dispense with them, but we are going to have quite a sophisticated character sheet for the scouts.
Yes.
Which will have questions on it.
You
So,
said you already had an idea for it drawn
I got some
up.
ideas.
Oh,
I got some
sweet.
ideas.
Do you have any
We'll talk
pictures for me to throw up on the
No.
screen? No? Okay. I'm excited. Okay, well,
We can do a bullet list for that as well.
with that exciting note, is there anything else you want to add to this at this time?
Just a villain thing is quite important as well.
So creating the villain together?
Creating the less of a villain, more of a conflicting scenario
The challenge?
or something.
The
Yeah.
challenge, the threat, the
Threat,
problem.
I think threat's good. Threat's good.
Okay.
Creating.
Oh,
But now we have to decide. We have to decide whether that's in the the Creek Guide section, which it might be better to be, because otherwise it's
think
going to give
so.
away.
It will.
Going to
I
give
think
away the scenario.
I think that is part of the scenario creation,
Yeah.
which is already going to be done before you do the session zero. Ultimately, having your general scenario as a creek guide is good. However, don't forget that part of session 0 is also doing, for the audience here, don't forget that part of your session 0 is also going over safety tools.
Yeah.
So,
you definitely.
be prepared, if needed, to slightly tweak your scenario a little bit during that stage. It is okay to make changes.
Nice. Yeah, true.
Just a caveat there. Okay, do we go into scout creation now? Are we doing scout creation? Yes!
Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent. Also, folks, if you hear some coughing in the background or some strange words that pop up in the caption that I'm not actually saying, it's because my partner's over there playing video games. Just fired up Monster Hunter Rise for the first time tonight, and oh my goodness, the doggos.
Yeah, right.
We both created the Palamutes, the dog companions, after like one of our 2 dogs.
Is that PC now? Is it that game? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yep,
I was
yep,
thinking
yep.
of getting the Switch version.
Do it. Okay.
Nice.
Character.
Right.
I'm gonna say scout creation.
So a lot of the scout creation will have options, like the Creek creation will have. So name, for instance, will have a table of options. Gender fluid sort of names.
Elements of scout creation will be, I'm just gonna write it out just so we have it, supported by random suggestion tables to help the players get those get their creativity flowing. I used to say the creative juices, but then I don't like that anymore, right? Well, that's something that like people used to say, like, yeah, get those creative juices flowing. It's like, what if my creativity isn't juicy? I prefer crunchy.
Crunchy creative.
I want it to be like a bag of Cheetos, not sponsored. Not sponsored unless.
Unless it is.
Fuel your creativity with original Cheetos.
Stop it, you'll get banned.
Will I? Will I get banned?
I think so.
It's free advertising.
No, probably not.
Oh,
yeah, that's
no.
true.
Please, Cheetos, know I love you.
So look back on this stream.
Yep.
That Cryptid Creek, that best-selling RPG. You know they advertise Cheetos on stream.
I mean, as long as Chester Cheetah doesn't come out to be like.
That's true.
A turf.
Very possible.
Hopefully not. Oh, so. Speaking of sponsorships, I keep getting like Streamlabs sponsorship emails.
Do you?
For like streaming and Twitch and stuff.
Right, okay.
And they're like, a new sponsorship is waiting to be claimed, because they're like generalized sponsorships that are just available for streamers.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
But they think I still live in the UK, so I'm getting like HelloFresh UK.
Oh, I see.
Uber Eats. Oh, damn it, none of those things happen here where I live now. I would love to be sponsored by something food related because I love food.
You do.
And I always need food. Rich is like, yep, yes you do.
You do.
That Scriv sure loves their food. Cheetos. Okay. So Scout creation, certain elements of Scout creation will be supported by random suggestion tables to help get their creativity flowing. Yep. And that can include, and this is just kind of tagging it for ourselves, that can include names.
Style, maybe?
Style / aesthetic, I guess?
I would say...
I need a swamp core scout.
Scouting speciality?
Scouting speciality.
Or scouting
very, very
interest?
Good. Hobbies and interests would be good.
Yeah, we'll just make a long list, and then we can pick it apart. And then we've got then our stats.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's not really a random table list.
No,
there.
That's a separate part of the character sheet.
Okay, so now.
So 5 stats.
Which we have described already.
Which we have described. Yep.
And just as a quick review. I think we're getting to the point now where we have enough here. We need to switch it over to a Google Docs. So we have the chapters.
Yeah, I agree.
Stats, physicality, intellect, mentality, personality, and sensitivity. Excellent. And we were playing around with different ways of representing those different things, just so you have that consistency of connotation.
And we had the adversity with them as well.
And the adversity conditions, very, very good. Exhausted, clouded, shaken, abrasive or off-putting, and then skeptical or loss of belief.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh,
So
happy with that. Very
how
cool.
will... So actually, I think this is going to be part of character creation. So I
Oh,
should
it is.
probably...
It
Yeah.
is, definitely.
So I'm going to change the organization of this. Take this
Okay.
out. Because the character creation and the moves and the badges, those are all part of building your scout, really.
They
That's
are, yeah.
all information that you need. So we're going to put... I'm just going to put this at the end for now. Because it looks like
Josh.
you have the how to play and running the game down here already.
Yeah.
We're going to do it this way. I can't wait for the boat episode. Love me a good boat. What up, Josh? Ooh, game's getting a Google Doc upgrade. Hey,
Yeah, we're at that level. We're at that stage. We're upgrading.
The steady evolution, like the Pokemon evolution of a TTRPG guidebook document. Basic evolution, scribbles in a notebook. Intermediate level, or I guess this could be basic as well, like scribbles in a notebook, or just like a very lengthy Word document. And then you go to a Google Docs, and eventually you get publisher and you do layout.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
Okay. So select your character stats array.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go ahead and just kind of link that to this.
Yep.
Yep. So remind me again, when it comes to the array, you can choose it. You're not necessarily rolling for your stats, right?
You can choose it, yeah. So you'll have potentially 5 options. And you get to add a +1 to 1 stat from the pre-selected options, depending on what type of character you are leaning towards. That's why we're not going with playbooks, because they're not so extreme, I suppose, in some ways as well. As opposed to like some games where it's like you're very much like the tank character, or you're very much like a roguish character.
Yeah.
These are slightly more grounded.
Because you're kids and you're scouts.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have all the same basic stuff.
Yeah.
I still kind of like the idea of maybe doing playbooks as like an expansion later on, because I think that could be fun, but I don't think it needs it.
We'll see. I don't think it needs it initially. My feeling is it doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Especially if we get this character sheet as sort of like fleshed out as I imagine it will be. Mm-hmm. And then so underneath stats are the adversity conditions.
Yep. So
and XP as well. XP as well.
Okay, experience points. All right, so I'm gonna say adversity conditions. Mm-hmm. So are experience points part of character creation, or is that coming as part of playing the game?
It would just be on the sheet.
Oh.
This is kind of a character sheet breakdown.
Okay. This isn't like the sections that are going to be described in the scout creation chapter.
It will be as well, but it will go with the sheet.
Okay.
So it will be a template of a sheet, and then we'll describe each section of the sheet.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to present this a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to say character sheet template, and I'll just do a quick little bullet list to describe everything that's on the character sheet. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have, again, probably your name, stats. Are you having adversity conditions reflected on the sheet?
Yeah.
So you can like mark them?
Mm-hmm.
Marker.
So hobbies will be under after name.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have as much as we can on this one sheet because we don't have playbooks.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a working document.
So we'll put scouting specialty on there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Stats, versing conditions, experience points.
And moves or badges?
Oh, 100%. 100% the badge moves, yeah.
Yeah. Because the basic universal moves, they're open to everyone, so I don't know if you necessarily need to have them on the sheet unless it's as a reference.
No, we don't need the basic moves on there.
Yeah.
What we do need, though, is...
But the badges.
Advancements after conditions.
What do you mean by advancements?
Well, you can pick, say you want to pick a new move. So one of the options could be pick a new badge. So if you level up as a character, you get to add something to your character.
Well, let's just have a badge tracker then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Almost like the sash or on the vest, you know, however you represent your badges.
Yeah. Like, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So there'll be other things on there, something like the way you use items, or also increasing your stat modifiers as well. So that's another thing.
So stats and modifiers.
Stats, modifiers, badges, items. They'll be the kind of things that you can evolve. If that makes sense.
Items / inventory. Yeah.
And that'll form a whole. Depending on how long you play, you'll upgrade.
Yeah. Like having the basic things on the character sheet. And I like designing a character sheet as well based on what kind of style of play you want to encourage.
Mm-hmm. So
the things that you have on your character sheet are the things that you're emphasizing, right? So the fact that something that's missing from this sheet that you might see in other TTRPGs, hit points. Are there going to be hit points? Is there going to be armor class? No, because it's not a combat-centric system.
No.
And Bard RPG doesn't have that either.
Yeah, exactly. But there's another session we need to have. Another part of this whole stream has to be conflict. Mm-hmm. And I talked briefly about it earlier tonight. I texted you earlier.
Yes.
About we have to make this conflict, whatever they choose the scenario to be the threat. Mm-hmm. We have to make the players feel like it is encroaching. Yeah. And it is actually, there's a potential that it could actually happen. Mm-hmm. Because I really love the calamity meter in Innsbruck. I really love that mechanic where it's like disbelief's built up, there's a lot of failure, and therefore it triggers a calamity.
Yeah, I like
aspect of a calamity.
I like that. I think we could have something similar in here, and it would fit very, very nicely. So if they don't find the cryptids in time, you'd have
there has to be some consequences.
Timer. Yeah. So what? Sorry, go ahead.
But there potentially might be mechanics that can counteract it as well, though.
Yeah, I think
we got the mini cryptids. They can come into it. The supernatural.
That's what I'm thinking. So you can fight back against like the degrading health of the creek and the forest by establishing those connections, by finding and befriending the cryptids. And I think that would be good. But back to the character sheet and character creation.
Yep.
Because we're jumping around because we're so excited, like a frog cryptid.
So where did we get to?
So I put down the list, everything you mentioned for the character sheet template, although I also added this. I don't think this would be part of the character sheet, but I like the idea of it being part of like the pages. Because we mentioned before it almost being kind of like a workbook or a field journal where they can record cryptids. Recording notes on the cryptids.
Yeah.
And
100%.
That might be a separate thing. I don't know.
Well, it will be the small ones, and it will be clues to the ultimate one.
Yeah. Oh, cryptid episode.
So like for instance, like we talked about before, say you go down to the harbour front and you speak to a local who's got some sort of like tale of, I saw something with wings in the clouds the other day or something. And then you can sketch some wings.
There's a winged cryptid.
There's a winged cryptid.
I love using
you don't have the whole picture. You don't have the whole picture.
Yeah. I love
So like
the
a
idea
jigsaw
of
puzzle.
having the scouts start to draw
Mm-hmm.
as they learn more and more about the cryptid, and then they change things or they add
Yeah,
to it. That's a very, very cool idea.
yeah, it's really nice.
Mm.
It's like emergent sort of like creativity. I love it.
So, what else is going into your character creation here? So, we've got the general elements that we need on the character sheet itself, and then we've got all the we've got the stats and the adversity conditions. We'll need to talk about the adversity conditions as well, which we already kind of discussed before, but that'll need some expansion.
Yeah, we need bonds on there alongside them, alongside the
on the character
adversity.
sheet.
Yep. And that will be.
Hold on, next to the adversity section in the book or on the character sheet? We need bonds
in the book,
regardless.
In the book,
yeah.
So in the character sheet, there needs to be a thing where it's about your relationships with the other scouts.
Yep.
So like, you know.
I think we put that higher up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there could be a flashback table or something, like a flashback to what made you join the scouts, or like who's your favorite of the people, what's your connection with this person, something like that.
So
I don't know exactly the questions, but yeah,
there is something, and there's already precedent for this in other Powered by the Apocalypse games.
Yeah.
But having a list of examples for what the bonds might look like and what your connections to other players would be. So like, a secret about player A.
Yes.
But they don't know or you had an argument at one point and you're still bitter about it, or you really admire this trait about this person, stuff like that. So we can include
but it could be a series of questions and you just like tick one that you want to go with.
Yep. That's how it was for
one or two.
Yeah, that's how it was for our overall rule of lore, the Tomorrow is Dead, like Kids on Bikes Powered by the Apocalypse Zombies game, where we actually went around in a circle and each of us chose a connection, a thing for the next character in line, and then they chose a connection,
Nice.
and it was a nice way to make sure all of us were connected to each other in a balanced manner as well, instead of like two people wanting connections to the same character and they're like not everyone having something to play off of.
Perfect. That's exactly what we need.
And shared backstory elements.
Yeah.
Recommend ensuring a balance of bonds so that every player has something to work with. We'll have better wording for that. Almost Bedtime says, something I've found that works well with bonds like that, when you're setting them up with other players, is to offer them up, like, I would like to use this bond, who would like to be the connection? It avoids declarations of bonds that the other player isn't comfortable with. That works as well. Yeah, there are a lot of different ways you could go about it. It could be more structured, it could be more free-flowing, it could be, hi, would someone want to use this bond? I think a lot of it will depend on, like you said, the comfort level of the group as well. So we can have some prompts for connections, ensuring a balance of bonds. Let's provide recommendations for facilitating. For facilitation.
Yeah.
Within this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what that process could look like. Tailor the process to the preferred tailor the process to the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
And level of familiarity with each other. Because if it's a pickup game and people don't know each other, that also changes up a little bit. So I find that a lot of, especially with the games that you and I create, a lot of what we put into the guidebook are also like prompts and suggestions and guidance for the interpersonal aspect of gameplay. But I think that's important though, because
well, it's what I want to play. So
yeah,
you ideally want to make a game that you would like to play. Otherwise,
I think it speaks to the original inspiration for why we started doing game design for all ages in the first place, because what were some of those key elements? I remember one of our very first introductions and interactions with each other was when we were pulled together for a podcast talking about game design and gaming for kids and all ages, and you and Monique and we all came together and said, well, we want to encourage problem solving, inspiring confidence, interpersonal relationships, and skill building. And those things are present in each one of the games and systems we create. Being able to encourage that. We've never lost track of that. And I think that's a really motivating and kind of like core inspiration thing, because those are some of the things that we are drawn to about TTRPGs.
I get emotional. Stop
right?
It. Oh my god.
I'm feeling emotional.
It's really
today.
hit me. That really hit me then. Oh,
my friend.
I just write back 2 years. Just travel back. Oh, that's really emotional. I'm really upset. Not upset.
Not upset. I think it's been more than 2 years. It's been a long time, my friend. But it's a beautiful thing. And we're continuing it here, and I think that's very cool. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, no, it's good. It's really lovely. Like, it's such a nice thing to think back on. It's nice to think that I haven't really lost why I started, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people could easily do that.
It happens. People lose sight of what their original inspiration was, but I think that we've held on to it very well.
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've worked on it together.
Go
We've
team.
never lost. Yeah. Deep breath. Whew.
This emotional moment was brought to you by your favorite crunchy snack. I'm hustling.
So yeah, the last thing we need on the sheet is the trackers for investigation and sabotage.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to be beautiful. Now, you talked about before the Bard RPG wheel. It could be something like that. It could be something like more of a mass wheel. Mm-hmm. You know, it could be a session wheel. So it could be like a circle within a circle within a circle. So like each session would be a more extended circle.
Oh, that's
that makes sense.
If you want to use in a circle. If you would like to adopt the story wheel for this, you are more than welcome to. I told you can take whatever you want from it, it's fine. There is no rule saying that if you want to use one system for the basis of your game, like Powered by the Apocalypse, there is no rule of game design saying that you can't also cobble together pieces of other systems.
Well, I'm not even sure this is Powered by the Apocalypse anymore. We haven't even got playbooks, but we have got moves.
You've got moves. I think that when it comes to using a system, it doesn't mean that you have to use every single aspect of that system.
No, definitely not. No.
It's fine.
It's just
you can still be Powered by the Apocalypse without the playbooks. I think it's more the mechanic of decision resolution, and it's the way you structure your characters that really present the core of a system. Like if you think about, all frustrations with D&D aside, but I'll use that as an example because it's the most widely used and widely known. But if you use D&D as the basis system for something, what are you using? You're using a D20 system with certain types of character classes.
Yeah.
And commonly shared spells. But your character classes can be homebrew. You could have completely different kind of classes and different kind of races. But it could still be a D&D.
Oh,
because it's the D20 system.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's like the core system. of it. It's D20 and the way you use skills. Really.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. And like, yeah, some combat mechanics, but it still comes down to that D20 resolution.
Yeah. So my instant thought was just we have a wheel inside a wheel upon a wheel, depending on how if you want to do a campaign. So each session would be a wheel.
I'm gonna put a note there for scenario creation, like within there.
Yeah.
Campaign wheel, the water wheel.
That's nice. That's good. Campaign water wheel. Yeah.
We're leaning in. We're really doubling down on this theme.
Yeah.
Going down the river. Oh wait, no, that's a song. Going down the river, creek.
So that's good. That's good. But fundamentally it'd be the same. So it wouldn't. Whereas your story wheel is for individual instances. This would be for the overall
campaign, which I think is very cool.
One shot.
I like the idea. Or the scenario. It's the overall scenario.
It's a scenario wheel, essentially. Yeah.
I like the idea of different wheels being nested within. But we're getting off track. Character creation.
Those wheels are the last part of the character sheet, really, I think. And apart from
the wheels are part of character creation?
100%. The trackers will have to be on the sheet, yeah.
So do you want all of the trackers on the sheet, or do you want those to be like separate tools? Because the movement of the wheels is going to be more dictated, yes, by the actions, but I think it would be the creek guide
to move them. Yeah.
Who is managing that.
So they wouldn't be on the character sheets. Yeah. That's true.
Because the thing you want to be careful of, I think, the thing we need to be careful of is to make sure the character sheet template isn't too cluttered.
Yeah.
I think you have some key things here. I even think the field journal needs to be separated.
A different thing, yeah.
That needs to be a different thing, so I'm going to put that italicized with an asterisk. I think the investigation and sabotage trackers, do you want to track those on the sheet, or is that going to be connected to the wheel?
No, that'll be on the wheel. So yeah, that'll be separate for the creek guide.
Oh, snap.
It could even be like an item like we talked about before,
which would be cool.
Physically move it, yeah. But
and that, oh my goodness, what have I done? No.
Well, I'm literally.
Go away. How do I get rid of these? No.
Is that the review tab or something?
I guess so, but I don't know how to get rid of it. It gives all the little freaking things. No. Technology. Oh, found it.
Oh yeah, nice.
We're good.
Yeah, so that can move down to another part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it. I am having trouble with things today. Okay, so I will take that out and put that down here.
Yeah.
For running the game.
Yep.
I think that'll be in running the game.
Sure. Nice.
Although I think that we should include a description of the field journal in character creation. It won't be on the character sheet, but we should have a description of it in there because that's your primary tool.
It's one of your handouts, one of your big handouts.
Oh gosh, I passed by it because I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Other tools / handouts, and we'll use the character or the field journal for that. I think that'll be a good one.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. That, I think, is the main part of the sheet. Name, hobbies, scouting specialty.
Name, hobbies, scouting specialties.
I think get rid of hobbies. I think we'll just have the scouting speciality because that would tie into it, make it more unique because everyone puts hobbies.
Now, if we have recommendations for scouting speciality, that kind of sounds like playbooks.
I like the flow.
What kind of scout?
Go away.
Are you going to
Go away, Scriv.
Go away? You don't mean it. Fine.
With your playbooks.
Fine.
No,
I'm going away.
I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. Ugh.
Nope, I've gone away.
We have to think about it. We have to think about it. I mean, it's not the end of the world to have playbooks back in.
Can I
you
come
want
back
to put
now?
playbooks in, don't you?
You told me to go away. So now I'm just a disembodied voice on the stream.
No, come back. Come back. Come back.
Clap your hands if you
Come
believe
back,
in
please.
Scriv fairies.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Come back.
Okay, I'm back.
Good.
So whether they're playbooks or we don't call them playbooks and we call them scouting specialty, whatever it may be, but if you're going to have a specialty, that's kind of like a class, right? And that helps to describe what your role within a scout troop could be. Troop role.
Yeah.
So
Playbook slash playbook.
He said the thing, scribblers. He said the thing.
So I think we'll have to this week. I'm going to look into different playbooks and see if it does fit it. Because again, it would. I don't know. It's interesting.
I think we could still make it work without it being all encompassing. Like your stats and adversity conditions will all still be there, right?
Yeah.
Those aren't going to change, but different playbooks may have a slightly different. We could do this a couple of different ways. Your playbook could dictate a few different things. It could dictate the array of your stats. It could.
I mean, they generally do. Yeah.
It could dictate your starting badges.
It would do as well. Yeah.
As well.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, though, is it?
It's not necessarily, because it gives players something to start with. And see, almost bedtime. Throw out some examples: leader, quartermaster, naturalist. We had toyed with ideas of them representing different roles on a boat, on a ship, because you do have different jobs on a ship. And the interesting thing about being on a ship, whether large or small, everyone on that ship has a role, and every role is essential. You could be the navigator. You could be the engineer. You could be the
lookout.
the bosun. You could be the quartermaster. You could be the lookout. All of those different things. So there are things we can do with this that wouldn't take away. It would really just provide options. And if the players say, I don't really want to use any of these playbooks, I want to create my own, that's fine. And we can have...
I'm picturing a boat from the top perspective on the river with the playbooks coming off it. Oh, it would be so amazing. That
it would be really amazing.
How nice would that be with the teens in different positions on the boat? Oh,
yep, it gives them
what
an
have
archetype.
you done to me? What have you done for me?
I've introduced...
I always think of things I always visualize things. I always think things visually. Always. That's the way I work. That's why the art in my games is always exactly as I picture it, because I give people quite good prompts.
Yep.
But
I've introduced another thematic element that helps to bring it together. Unintentionally at first.
So your job this week then, if you choose to accept it, is to research boat.
Aye, Captain.
Okay.
That's handy, because I had to do that for Heroes of Iastera as well, because y'all are on the ship.
You're already halfway there then.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You need the galley cook and everything.
Yeah, well, 100%, all those things. Okay, get that together then. Medic, first aider.
Yeah.
All these things, like if we get well, we were actually almost bedtime. We were actually thinking of having one of the playbooks as being a companion dog. We actually talked about that, didn't we? An actual dog.
I think maybe we shouldn't do that. Because there's some weirdness about, calling another human a dog. But we did have, maybe not the animal companion thing. I think introducing a mascot, a troop mascot, would be really cool. And that can be part of the world building and creation. So I didn't think about that before.
Oh yeah,
so I'm just going to write that down really quick.
We need to put a troop name. Troop name and symbol.
Mascot, symbol.
Yeah.
Yes. But we did consider having one of the playbooks being like a cryptid themselves or similar to a cryptid.
Yes, we did.
Or
Yeah.
weird in some way, you
I mean, that
know?
might be really cool. I mean, it's tied into a lot of things like Stranger Things and all sorts of things.
It would.
You know, some with some sort of supernatural edge, at least.
Yeah.
Like
I think
a
it would be
lycanthrope or anything like that.
And they would have heightened extrasensory
Yeah, exactly. That would be the
with
main
their
stat.
stats.
Yeah. Well, now,
Yeah.
okay. Man.
We did
Okay,
it, chat.
I'm actually starting to like this now a lot.
We'll mull it over. We'll come
I
up with
lost a
some
lot of
ideas.
faith in it because I couldn't find the right selection of.
Right.
Because we talked about cryptids, but then we talked about cultural sensitivity, which would have been awkward. Then we talked about like the Jungle Book, and we talked about the cultural things with that. And then the animals felt a little bit, I don't know.
It didn't quite match.
Didn't quite fit.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit forced.
Because there's a lot of nature and natural environmental themes in this, but not so much about the wildlife. The
Not
cryptids,
really, no.
yes. But then when you go into cryptids, there are so many cryptids throughout mythology and folklore. Which ones do you possibly choose? And how do you make sure? So with like the playbooks and everything. Because it's not as simple as saying like, you're the vampire, you're the werewolf, you're the ghost, stuff like that. But I like the idea of going with the boat and water
I also think
navigation.
but I also think it focuses on the teens rather than the nature side of things, because there's going to be a lot about that. There's going to be a lot about the environment. There's going to be a lot about actual supernatural cryptids, nature spirits, all sorts. So it's nice to have something specific for the team dynamic.
And it focuses
dynamic.
on that teamwork and that collaboration as well. Like
for sure.
everyone has a role to play. And I think it'll fit really, really nicely with some of the scout badges you have. And it'll even give us ideas for more scout badges and prompts and things. And it'll be super cool. Yeah. Maybe they can say, choose one of these scout badges.
Three badges, yeah.
Yeah, three badges from this group, or two from this group, one, whatever it may be. So that could be a really cool thing. That's another dog fart. Hoo-wee! Goober, you got a stinky butt. He's been farting all night, y'all.
Oh dear.
So
that's good. Okay, you've convinced me, actually. You've convinced me.
I didn't start tonight's stream aiming to convince you about playbooks, but it just kind of happened that way.
Either you'll go with either. I know that. It's fine.
So I think we've got some cool ideas there. I think that with that in mind,
playbooks next week.
I think we do playbooks next week, and also kind of touch upon what the boat mechanics are going to be.
Yeah.
Because traveling by boat and having the playbooks is a very interesting thing, because some playbooks may offer an advantage to movement in some way, depending on how they use their skills. So an example of that, I remember playing a Beneath the Missing Sea from Soul Muppet Studios, also powered by the Apocalypse. Didn't use playbooks as much, but you had things like Ranger in there. Yeah. And I remember being a Ranger, and part of the movement when you're going through a map was I can double the distance that we can use, or I could have a benefit to foraging, so we can resupply, stuff like that, go through difficult terrain. So we can do things like that using a more nautically inspired playbook theme, and also having it link not just to the badges and the role, like the dynamics, but also the traveling by boat, because the boat's going to be very important when you're finding the cryptids and traveling around, I think.
Definitely. Oh, it's a big deal. Yeah, it's another central thing.
Yeah.
Another central thing. Okay. Excellent. New train of thought now.
Yeah.
And now I can return to the Kickstarter with the playbooks represented.
I think it's also a selling point.
How good is that? How good is that? How good is the idea of an actual illustration of the boat?
I love that idea.
With the scouts inside and the playbooks coming off it. Like a kind of like a it's so nice.
Once we figure out the playbooks and what the roles are, we got to get the artists working on that, because that'll be for the Kickstarter page for sure. Because you always want to have, if you can, if your budget allows for it, try to get some art, try to get some sort of visual representation, because visual learners. You want to engage as many of the senses as possible when you are designing a game or selling a product, whatever it may be. You want to have the text in there, the evocative descriptions. You want to look at the images and the beautiful artwork. If you can have a video and people can listen and watch and interact that way, that's a cool thing too. Exactly. But that's like marketing. We'll talk about that later when we actually get to the Kickstarter phase.
Yeah, I mean, the exciting thing is that we're getting some key art done now already. Lucille's working on 3 pieces for the actual end game, but also for the Kickstarter page. And then to add the playbooks, it's going to be so easy for her because he's already designing the teams in scenarios, the scouts in scenarios. So to actually transplant them and make them like character vignettes is going to be super easy.
Yeah.
And even on the boat. So I'm very excited about this. And the scouts are going to be represented by, instead of like uniforms, they can have like a knot, like a particular knot that they wear.
Yeah.
So it's like a sash or something, but it's going to be knotted.
Okay, so now I'm going to have to do some research on like nautical knots.
Different knots, yeah. And each playbook would have a different type of knot. This is brilliant. It's brilliant.
What if that was how they tracked their like rank within the scout troop, by the increasingly complex knots, though?
Yes, that's good.
How you can represent level up. Like, that's very good. You're an anchor knot.
That's good. Like the complexity of it. Yeah. Yes, that's brilliant. I love it.
I'm just a figure 8 knot. You're an anchor knot.
You're on fire. You're on fire tonight. So the knots, so the knots in the book could be represented, and then you can even have as part of the game how to do the knots.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so cool. Can you write this down? Write this down now. Write it down before it's gone.
Nautical knots for tracking skill level improvements. Pair with hands-on activity tutorials.
Yes. Genius.
This is good stuff. This is some good stuff.
Very happy. Very happy.
You know, I think we were kind of going upstream before. Now we're just riding the waves.
Yeah. Well, it's creating itself now.
Yeah.
It's creating itself, and this is what when you write a really like engaging story that you're engaged with yourself, the characters start to walk their own path, and it's like, are you going over there? Are you okay? I'll follow you.
It really puts wind in my sails, Rich.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Get ready for all the boat puns next time, folks. This is good.
Oh, Emily's here. Chat.
Hello, odds and ends. Yes, Creek Knot.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah. Lurk away. So I think Emily, I've already hoping that she will do the layout for this game.
Called out.
Yeah, no pressure. But
do not need to answer here and now, odds and
no,
ends.
absolutely
Thank
not,
you.
no.
Feel free to lurk. Love to the lurkers. We love lurkers on this stream too.
Yeah. But way in the future.
So I think this is probably pretty good for
really
how
good.
we're gonna
really
handle session 0. So you have building your creek and the arcade. You have scout creation to include the bonds and relationships, choosing your role on the ship with your playbook. You've got your troop name and symbol, and I like the idea of a mascot, so I've put mascot in there too, just to play with it. Talked about the field journal, talked about how you have your badge tracker for all of your special moves as well, and different advancements, stats, adversity, experience points, items, inventory. And I think this is going to make for a very, very good session 0.
It's solid.
Content,
it's solid.
You know?
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah. It's robust, isn't it?
Very robust.
Without being over complex.
Yeah.
But also with the knot thing, we're actually adding to that kind of like you said we wanted to be interactive game, and we're starting to add more and more the field journal, the sketches,
Yeah.
the kind of the knot tutorials.
I think that'll be really fun. And inspiration for stretch goals. Or
Yes.
maybe
100%. 100%. 100%.
Candy.
Sticker collections.
Sugar
all
collections.
sorts of things, enamel pins.
Baseball
but
cards.
This is don't get me started on the Kickstarter, because that's
we
my
get
favorite.
so excited.
It's actually
for
my
merch.
favorite part. That's actually my favorite part of the whole
It is.
process.
He's gonna get so excited once we start that. Just you wait.
Most people hate doing these campaign pages. Well, absolutely love
They're
it.
daunting. They are daunting.
They are daunting.
There's so much to try to keep in mind, and once you hit live, I mean, yeah, you can kind of edit a little bit afterwards, but it feels like very final. And then it's everything involved with running a Kickstarter campaign as well, because then I know for me, when I was doing Bard RPG, and that's a much smaller scale project in comparison, but I was just anxiously, feverishly checking that thing every hour of the day. So we'll talk about self-care during Kickstarter as well. Actually, I think that'll be a nice.
I think it's really
to touch
important.
upon.
I think we talk about a lot of things around crowdfunding when we get to that stage. What I'm doing at the moment after each of these sessions, I'm kind of fleshing out the Kickstarter page. So when we come to that session, I'll be able to show people kind of how you set one up and the sort of different elements that you want, and where to place the art, what will sell. You know, there's loads of considerations.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
this is good.
But that's exciting. But these ideas are fantastic, and I'm really happy with this. This is becoming the sort of game that I'm passionate about. You know, that I'd love to play myself.
Yeah. Well, I remember you talking about, and we might get into this with playbooks next time, but talking about your own childhood memories of being near the water and boating and all of that. And I think it's a nice way to really tap into that core memory for you and insert that into this game. I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, because exactly. That's basically what it is. It's a nostalgia trip for me. Like,
there's a lot of nostalgia in this game.
In a very positive way, and I'm hoping that I can pass some of that along to people and give them sort of, you know, make it a really joyous experience.
Yeah.
So the other thing we have to consider is whether we have. So we're not. So originally I pitched it as being quite linear. In other words, that you just have the construction company and you're against them, but that's going to be just an example. Creek conflict. Yeah. Let's call it. That's going to be example one at the end. Whereas the actual system's going to be built around whatever scenario you want. So it's going to have examples of different ones you can pick. Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
You could have so many different things. It could be big industry. It could be nature versus like technology, whatever. It could be like poaching even. You know?
It could be completely. It could be. I know it sounds weird, but it could be even like some sort of other mystery, like buried treasure. But honestly, it could be anything like that.
Anything at all, which is a lot of fun.
And that's what we want it to be. We want people to put their own stamp on it. We want people to, you know, third-party creators to make their own creeks and their own scenarios and their own. It
reminds me of playing in the woods as a kid, and coming up with all of the playing pretend situations, like we're secret spies infiltrating this thing, or we have to find the buried treasure, or
it's if the Goonies had. It's if the Goonies had like 20 films in a series.
Of all of the movies that could have become a franchise,
that could have easily done. Yeah. And Lost Boys, that could have been a franchise as well.
Yeah. Instead, we have like millions of
Peter Pan.
But all telling the same story.
Yeah.
And Robin Hood, lots of Robin Hoods.
Yeah. When
does Goonies enter like public domain?
Well, I mean, I don't. But like you say, but people think it's problematic, which it actually is in some ways nowadays. But a lot of things from the 80s. But so we want to make this a non-problematic version. that people can
Yep.
be very inclusive with.
I like that. Okay.
It's going to be so awesome. I can't. I'm so excited about this. I don't think I've not been this excited about any of the projects that I've come up with.
You are fired up, and
Yeah,
it's nice to see. I'm
I'm
excited too.
I'm investing everything in this. I'm investing so many resources
Yeah.
to make sure it's right. I just hope people that embrace it. And I think as the art comes out and as we drop more and more aspects of it, then it will start to pick up. Because it's not till September. It's not even launching till September. So.
And we already have, and I'll blow it up for people in the chat as well. We already have beautiful, beautiful sneak peek at some cover art.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. And you've got the little sailboat in there.
Yeah. I mean, and when Josh is finished with his current Kickstarter, he's going to expand that. He's going to have other scouts on the bank side, so it'll create a picture of all of them. It'll add another one to the boat, and then they're all in this area. But then as the cover sweeps up, it'll have the titles at the top, obviously. But then in the woods at the back, there'll be another cryptid. In the clouds, there'll be another one.
Yeah.
And then in the background, there'll be the construction company or something.
The giant cat.
Giant cat, yeah. In the woods,
I even, and I know this is getting ahead of ourselves, but when it comes to later on doing the campaign prep and everything, I'm even envisioning the different ways where this could be adapted to different cultural contexts as well.
Yeah.
You can have different kind of boats. You
Yeah,
can have
definitely
like flat bottom river boats. You could have like marshland kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You could use any sort of like winding waterway you can find in any corner of the world. You could have like island hopping version of Cryptid Creeks as well, even, because this fits with so many different like cultural contexts, I think.
Yeah, Japanese like even.
Very cool. Oh,
Okinawa and things.
I've got to hit. Okay, I'm gonna hit save and put us back on the other page here, so I can save this document. But we made some good progress tonight.
Brilliant progress. Yeah, I'm really happy about it.
This is looking very good.
We're only 5 sessions into it, and we've already
We've
already got a lot of the core content down.
Yeah.
Almost enough to start fleshing it out, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
But after next week's session, or whenever next session 6 is, or part 6, we'll then be able to actually get the playbooks down.
Yeah.
If we get these ship rolls and we make them quite diverse, using the referring to those stats, the 5 stats we've got, then yeah,
and we can keep the playbooks quite simple. Some of the ones I've seen go very in depth, but it can be as complex or simple as we want it to be.
I'm always thinking like one of them, like the sort of sensitivity one, or the supernatural one, could be some sort of river person that they kind of like interact with, like almost like a Robinson Crusoe type character.
Like someone who maybe doesn't. So this is gonna sound funny, but having lived in like Florida and Louisiana for many years in the past, in another life, I think of like swamp people. Like people who maybe are on the other side of town, right? Because this is like suburbia, almost like small town sort of thing. But then what if there is on the other side of the creek, there's another town, and it's more like swamp people? I don't know. We'll think of something better.
Just rural,
but you could do something like that.
Yeah, but they could be from that culture, whatever, that area. Much more in tune with the river, much more in tune with like swimming, diving, like the beaches, things like this.
They may have had some run-ins, some
with
like very
cryptid.
Vaguely defined, described run-ins with cryptids before. Yeah, definitely have that. That would be like more of the supernatural, spiritual sort of archetype.
But also quite slightly more grounded. rather than being like a lycanthrope or something.
Yeah.
Shape
Yeah.
or something.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for the follow, Pedigree. Welcome, my friend.
Hi.
Excellent. Oh, that's awesome. I wonder how many followers we have on the Twitch channel now. Dang. It's getting up there.
It is to really well.
I'm afraid to look.
Brilliant.
I'll look after the stream. Anyway, I think that was really good. 315. Heck.
Craggy.
We've cracked 300. Dang. No, that's okay. That's okay. I was having some computer issues earlier, so I was just afraid to like start flipping through different windows and tabs. But okay, I think that's a good point for us to conclude this evening. Tune in next week. Are we good for Tuesday? Next week, you think?
I can't do Tuesdays because of my.
You want to do Wednesdays?
Is it possible?
Yeah, we can do that.
Wednesday's good. Yeah.
Wednesday's good. We may have to move
or
that other meeting a little earlier.
Are we doing ISTAR every week then?
Oh no, we're doing ISTAR every other week. So are we gonna start alternating? Okay, yeah, we'll do it Thursday, because tomorrow is the return to Iastera, Chapter 3, Episode 2.
Yeah.
Rejoin the story. Rejoin the epic tale. Yes, please. If you haven't caught up with the story, if you're not familiar with it, go check out the YouTube channel. I just finished up compiling the actual playlist of Heroes of Iastera videos. Catch the whole story from the very beginning right up to the entrance of Chapter 3, where the heroes are on the Aphis on their way to Yokul to investigate some very mysterious and concerning magical artifacts that have been connected to the Athenium. So it'll be good. Oh, get the bomb voice. But in between you and landing in Yokul is 3 weeks at sea. And speaking of roles on a ship, every one of the characters in Iastera have a role, have a job that they were assigned on the ship to keep them busy so they can be good crew members over this journey as negotiated with Captain Nami. So you'll get the full recap tomorrow. They are.
We've got some parallels going on here.
I love sea travel.
Parallel
I think it's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And with that, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we close out?
Just had to Kickstarter and join the Cryptid Creeks Kickstarter.
Yes.
I shall type it in here. Actually, I'll just put the link in.
Yep.
Quickly, and then anyone who's still here can join. There you go. Yeah, just follow that, because every follower matters. We're doing really well. We've got 230, and it's not out till September, so that's really good.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Dang.
Good start.
Yeah, go check it out. And over the weekend, or at least by next week, we're going to have this episode uploaded to YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And if you are watching this from YouTube now, thanks for coming. You made it. So, okay. I think that's it. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Don't forget to tune back here. Should be sometime maybe around 9:30, 10 o'clock GMT in the evening for Heroes of Iastera. I'm so excited. Okay. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some of your time here with us tonight. Keep adventuring, keep scribbling, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Love you guys.
Bye.